Hi, and welcome to another one of my video blogs. I'm author and ghost historian Mike Ricksecker. You see that I'm in my trench coat and fedora today. There is a specific reason for that, why I'm looking like my detective persona, and that is because my very first novel, my mystery novel, Deadly Heirs, became 10 years old this past week. So I'm celebrating that. There was a time during the week where you could actually get this free on Kindle. That has since passed. But I want to talk a little bit about how Deadly Heirs came to be, the history behind it, and to me it's a beloved piece of work that I've done because it's a part of me, and everybody who's read it, everybody who's approached me has told me that they've really enjoyed it, they've really liked it, nothing but great things to say about it. So when this is done, go get it, you'll enjoy it. Deadly Heirs, I know I've had everything going on with the paranormal and the ghost books and all of that in recent years, but I began my writing career as a mystery writer and writing mystery novels, and this was the first one here. Chase Michael DeBarlo is my private detective, and that came about when I was a very young child. I've been writing since I was 7 years old, since I was in second grade, and I really loved and enjoyed the Encyclopedia Brown books. So I might be dating myself a little bit, but I used to just love trying to figure out, how Encyclopedia was able to, basically catch Bugs Meany once again. It wasn't always Bugs Meany, but for the most part it was. It was stimulating to the mind. I like trying to figure out the little puzzles and mysteries and all that. And as I grew older, I found other detective characters like Cam Jansen and the Hardy Boys, Hitchcock's Three Detectives, and so on through the years. Let me give you a quick rundown of what Deadly Heirs is about. Private investigator Chase Michael DeBarlo is hired by the great niece of a wealthy billionaire to find his last will and testament, as he is supposedly drowned in his swimming pool. It's a lot of great intrigue with family loyalties and disloyalties, as well as investigating an intriguing art market, mysterious art market. And Chase is also hired by a couple of others along the way, so he has a bit of a time management crisis trying to keep all these different cases put together. But that's basically the premise of Deadly Heirs, and I bring a little bit of that up just to kind of give you an idea of the ties to my early writings and influences. I am not ashamed to say that the idea of a missing will came from a book that I read as a child called The Mummy, the Will, and the Crypt. In that book as well, the will of, I can't remember now, I think it's a grandfather or something like that, where the will is missing, and the boy, as a young child, I think maybe 11 years old, maybe 10, something like that, is going through all these different things to try to find the will. And so, like I said, I can barely even remember the story, but I remember that piece of it. And so there's a lot of influences here from when I was growing up. Chase Michael DeBarlo, the detective, I created in high school, of all places. It was a computer business applications class, and we were given an assignment one day. It was basic word processing. We're on a classic Mac computer. We're being introduced to what a word processor is, and our instruction for the day was to type up a one-page document. And so, sitting in the middle of this class, I was inspired to write a short detective story. I hadn't written a lot of mystery for a few years. Most of my writing in high school was contained to my journal or song lyrics. I wrote a lot of song lyrics in high school, and some stories from time to time as well. So I decided to just Chase Michael DeBarlow was born in the old Bowman building of Worcester High School, which is now torn down. So it started with that short. It was silly. Chase was just on his way downtown chasing after Knuckles Knucklehead, and the name of the story was called The Missing Donut Seed. And if anybody remembers the old Cheerios commercials from late 80s, early 90s, they were calling themselves Donut Seeds. So, like I said, it's silly. He uses donut seeds, Cheerios, unsinkable Cheerios, to find his way downtown through this flood that was happening. Like I said, silly, very silly. And so I wrote a lot of those. I mean, maybe at least a dozen of them. Back then, a couple after I graduated as well, and even one that I wrote after I had written the first chapter of Deadly Heirs. But some of that has actually found its way into this book, and I'll give an example. It's actually a piece from The Missing Donut Seed 2. You know, I had already had a rough day on the job. Clues, suspects, paperwork, you know the deal. I propped my feet up on a large oak desk that sat in the middle of my office, lit up a cigar, and was just starting to unwind. That's when she walked in. The moonlight shimmered in her emerald eyes, her hair of gold glowed softly. Yeah, a lot of that there is straight from The Missing Donut Seed 2 that I wrote in 1991 in high school. You know, back then it was Stella Moonlight, still use the word moonlight, that was radiating in the doorway. Well, Stella became Stella Boardwick, who now sings in the Flamingo Lounge in Deadly Heirs, and the Flamingo Lounge originated in another one of those stories from back then. So a lot of early influence, you know, from my childhood that I've included in Deadly Heirs. But you know, it is an adult book. People have asked me before, you know, what age range, you know, to read it, and you know, I'd be fine, you know, certainly with a with a teen reading this. You know, a younger child, I would say, you know, stick to some of the more, you know, juvenile, young adult kid books rather than Deadly Heirs, because there are some adult themes in here. I like to say that there's a host of colorful characters in here. People have really enjoyed. You know, the waitress that I have that works at Blondie's, Lynn Stevens, loves his donuts. He's a police detective that, you know, Chase is always interacting with. Chase is, you know, definitely, you know, my alter ego, been my super ego. And I have a second one in here as well. See if you can find him. Shouldn't be too hard, given, you know, anybody who knows me will be like, oh yeah, I can see him too. But yeah, so Deadly Heirs is 10 years old. It was a long, hard process to finally get this published. You know, with those early influences being in high school, and finally, you know, starting with, you know, chapter 1, you know, full chapter 1 instead of bits and pieces in 1997. It wasn't until 2004 that this was finally published. So, you know, it was a while, and you know, you kind of chalk that up to, hey, you know, I was working, father, you know, a lot of different things going on. You know, there were a lot of, you know, had to come home and, you know, make dinner and take care of things at the house. And so I was doing a lot of my writing, like, on my lunch break and things like that. So it was a few years, you know, off and on, you know, when I could find the time to get this written. So it was definitely there was a lot of, you know, blood, sweat, and tears put into this book. So basically, I want to thank everybody who has supported me over the years, who has purchased the book, all the wonderful feedback that I've received over the years. You know, it has been absolutely fantastic. For those that don't know, this is the first edition of it. There's a second edition out on Kindle right now, and that is, you know, a little bit different. What I've done with the second edition is it's, you know, some deleted scenes. There's some editing work because the small publish that I went with, because I got fed up of trying to you know, work with the big houses. I ended up going with the small publisher for this edition of the book, and there was some editing work that needed to be done because the editor wasn't very good. So did that, extended some scenes, and the special announcement that I'm going to make is that there's going to be a 10th anniversary edition. Yes, there will. So there'll be a little bit more of that with, you know, maybe a little bit more extended scenes. I don't want to play with it too much because the pacing is already very good. That's something that that has been consistent with the feedback that I've received on Deadly Heirs, is that, you know, it's a really great paced book. So I don't want to play with that too much. No, I'm not going to go all George Lucas on the 10th anniversary edition and have Hayden Christensen make an appearance as Chase Michael DeBarlo. Not going to do that. Not going to go there. No Hayden Christensen in Deadly Heirs. You know, I am going to do a little bit more fleshing out some of the scenes. And then I'm going to add a little treat at the end of the book, and I'm not going to, you know, cop out and cheat with that treat and be, you know, and put All Hail Hack Tucker at the back end of there, you know, which is a great short story, but it's a freebie on my website already. And for those that don't know, basically that's a deleted scene from System of the Dead, told from the perspective of Hack Tucker. There's a point there where Chase runs into Hack in a back alley behind a strip of shops that he's investigating, and he doesn't know what Hack has been up to. Well, this short story, yeah, explains basically what Hack and his buddies were up to back there. So I'm not going to do that. It'll be something that's new and fresh that I'll put back there. Still trying to decide exactly what that is going to be, but that'll be a treat at the end of the 10th anniversary edition. Of course, that'll have a foreword with it as well. And then I might do a little bit to spruce up the cover, although I really like this. I designed this cover myself, and I'm quite proud of it, actually. So, you know, that'll come out later this year. And I, you know, kind of have the rest of the year to take care of that since it's the 10th anniversary year, but it won't be too long. You know, maybe by the end of the summer, because I do have Campfire Tales Midwest coming out this year. And there is a short story with Chase Michael DeBarlo in Campfire Tales Midwest that's coming out. For those that have read System of the Dead, Chase is, you know, is decided at the end to take on a case that was proposed to him that's based in Oklahoma, and so he goes there in Campfire Tales Midwest. That case is there. You know, and some people have asked me about a hardcover version of Deadly Heirs. There is a hardback edition. I'm no longer selling them. Very short run, we're talking 5. So if you have one, you have a collector's item. I have one of them, so there's only 4 out there right now. That was it. That was all that was ever run for a hardback version of Deadly Heirs. So you absolutely have a collector's item if you have the hardback version of Deadly Heirs. So lucky you. Again, I want to thank everybody for all the support over the years. You know, even in you know, places like The Matrix Online, where the DeBarlo character was with the Enigma Directive, and guys like Naboo and Kaneda Jade and Arachnus. You know, even though, you know, we were playing a game that you guys really helped to enhance that Chase Michael DeBarlo persona, because we're, you know, playing with his persona in the game, and you guys, you know, were great with that. You know, and just, you know, other early influences like, you know, with Tex Murphy, the Tex Murphy crew, Aaron Connors and Chris Jones, and, you know, those were some you know, full motion video games back in the mid '90s that, you know, I wanted to do the same with Chase Michael DeBarlo, and that didn't really ever pan out. But Tex was always the same type of detective as Chase, and so that kind of helped to inspire me and keep me going over the years in writing this was Tex, and some of the music from his game, and you know, that type of gumshoe sleuth type of detective. I thank all of you for everything over the years. It's been a fantastic ride. Please go to MikeRicksecker.com, where all my books are at. You can get this as an autographed version out there. It would be the first edition for now. there's the links to the Kindle edition, and as well as the same for System of the Dead and the Ghost books. All of that, if you buy it from the site, you'll get the autographed version. If you want to buy it from Amazon, hey, that's fine too. Yeah, I have no problem with that. Or if you buy one of the Kindle versions or something like that, not a problem. Please feel free to leave comments and give the thumbs up on the YouTube channel. That would be fantastic. And you can also find me on Twitter at Mike Ricksecker, or on Facebook. I got my author page, and then a page for each of the books. So until next time, take care.